Hello. Good afternoon. A little late to the start, but we're here. A little late to the start. Uh, okay. So momentarily, it is being reported that Sean
I'm getting there.
Diddly Doo Hoo Hoo is going to speak on his own behalf at his sentencing hearing. Following a 10-minute break, Combs is expected to rise from the defense table to speak on his own behalf in a final bid to avoid years behind bars. Bitch, you should have spoke like at the trial. I'm just saying. Wait, why is this? Hold on, in a minute. There we go.
Get out of my fucking
I don't know why. Some like I don't. Why it's giving me a half a screen. But yeah, the prosecution is seeking an 11-year prison term for Diddy, while defense lawyers are hoping that he'll get just 14 months, with the majority of that being time served, which would amount, like I said, to about time served. Fuck him. I mean that wholeheartedly. Fuck him. And don't come over here with this. Well, you have to separate the art from the artist. You know, that's what they said about Woody Allen for years. And then people were shooketh when he married his stepdaughter. And then they still tried to say you got to separate the art from the artist, when it was also pointed out that he doesn't hire anybody with any melanin. Okay, the only melanin in his life is the child that he groomed into a wife. And he found out that he had weekly and monthly get-togethers with Jeffrey Epstein. You still want to keep separating the art from the artist? Because it wasn't separate the art from the artist when it came to Bill Cosby. Rightfully so. Not arguing any of those points. But are we done doing that shit? Because I also want to bring this up regarding the Diddy sentencing, and there are plenty of updates. I've been running updates since court adjourned this morning. They're on YouTube as always, and on TikTok. And there's one video that immediately caught a CGV, but once again, it is on YouTube. I did put in an appeal. There are traditions in the United States I need to stop. I need them to stop expeditiously, and this is the one that I need to stop right now, and I'm going to explain it to y'all. Okay. A Miami pastor asked Judge Anand Subramaniam to free Sean Combs from jail, saying that no amount of time spent behind bars will change his condition. So we're gonna take him to the firing squad. We're gonna send him to Jesus so Jesus can properly hold him accountable, because I'm for that. The pastor is Reverend Gary Johnson, said this, and I quote: "As Michael Jordan said, these sneakers are just sneakers, but when Sean does things, he turns them into opportunities. Sean needs an opportunity. I'm asking you to give him to us, and we won't let you down." First of all, don't nobody give a damn what Michael Jordan has to say. Ain't nobody quoting Michael Jordan for the good reasons, okay? You quote him like if you're a basketball coach, like if you're at a sporting event. Nobody in serious real life is quoting Michael Jordan, okay? Because Michael Jordan is the epitome of a series of bad fucking bad ideas and bad actions, okay? Great basketball player. But the tradition that I'm talking about that needs to stop within the United States is that clergy stepping in for sexual predators, saying, no, don't hold them accountable. Don't put them behind bars. Just give them to us and we'll fix them. Because that just give them to us just means moving locations of the person and continuing to cover for them as they rack up more victims. And if you think I'm joking, let me once again remind you all of the story behind the adage of the American dream. Okay, this was not something that comes from the founding fathers, although they try to make you think that it does. It doesn't. It comes from Horatio Alger, who still has a foundation to this day, that some of the people that you all love so much has won awards from that foundation. They still give scholarships and have camps for young people, specifically immigrants. Horatio was from a family of clergy, and he was a clergy himself. He was a pastor in Boston for a while, and he got busted out because he had assaulted two young boys so badly that they were traumatized. And then two more came out. His pastor father and the congregation told the cops, no, there's no need to investigate. We'll handle this. He won't work at this church ever again. We're going to ship him to another city. And at this time, he had already started writing short stories in little magazines geared towards immigrant boys that were coming to this country by themselves and selling them the American dream. And how were they going to achieve the American dream? Through his tutelage and his mentorship. And do you know when he left Boston, where he went? New York City. New York City, that for many, many generations was the hub for what? Say it together, class, immigration. And what were the vast amount of the immigrants at the time? Teenage boys. So this American dream is tied to the tradition of pedophilia, sexual assault, and faux clergy covering for it. Always say, give them to us. We'll handle it. We'll handle it. This is why I'm shocked. I am shocked that the Christian nationalists and the evangelicals haven't established their own court like the military does. When I tell y'all, being a historian can be heartbreaking because you can see the writing on the walls and you can see what's being done and what's truly being protected. And this is why I do what I do. Yes, you can get news from any place, but this is why I say I do daily news in a way you didn't realize you could use, because I'm going to bring you the historic context behind it so you can fully understand and grasp it. And I'm going to be honest with you. Even if I don't agree or like the person that the story is about, I'm going to be honest with you. But all of this, given to us, will take. When did Diddy get religious? And if this pastor is going to be like, well, I'm his longtime pastor, and you didn't know that this was his issue, and you wasn't trying to help him before? Because before the pastor said that, Diddy's attorney was like, well, he promises to go immediately into therapy. Why didn't he go into therapy before? And yes, I know there's a lot of denial, a lot of fighting it when you have to face your demons, especially when it comes to mental health. But I'm sorry, it is a conscious choice to be a horrible human person. It is a conscious choice to force people to engage in your kinks and your predilections, because there are people out here that would have loved to slip and slide, dip and dab in Baby Earl with Diddy. There are plenty of people that was like, oh, you want a different motherfucker in the bedroom with us every night? I'm down. There are people who would have loved to have had freak offs. There are people who've been waiting and looking for somebody to do that level of debauchery with. It is a choice to force someone. It is a choice to force someone to be financially dependent upon you. And I've been saying it all day, and I'm going to continue to say it because I need people to remember a few things, okay? He fled the country. He lied about putting his hands on Cassie Ventura until the footage came out that he thought he had destroyed. While he knew he was under federal investigation, he put hands on his most recent girlfriend. When he was picked up by federal officers, he was about to enter an elevator at a hotel that he had just registered in and put his stuff in the hotel room. He didn't learn anything. He didn't care. He truly felt that he was above it all. This man already booked events for next week in Miami. After the lunch break, he came in and blew kisses and gave the prayer hands to his mama. Yes, Miss Nut Mac and Cheese herself. Okay? His kids finally spoke at the sentencing hearing, but never spoke on his behalf during the trial. And he said, y'all look so emotional. He didn't give a damn about them kids before. And do not forget, the defense called no one during the trial. Diddy didn't even take the stand for himself. No one, not his mother, not a friend, not a collaborator, not a business partner, not a child, not a love interest, not a partner, not nobody would stand up there and go, no, he's a great person. He never did that. And they're also like, well, in Miami, he would be within walking distance of his mother and he needs to take care of her. That bitch looked just fine. She looked just fine. She looked as in good a health as a sun splooge eating heifer could look. I don't know. Okay. I would say, is it the brain? But I'm like, is it the sperm? Like, why? But breaking news, Hamas says that it has agreed to release all Israeli hostages. Hamas says it agrees to release all Israeli hostages, part of Trump's Gaza peace plan. The plan was unveiled by the president and Israeli Prime Minister Bibi from Philly in Washington on Monday, following talks that excluded the militant group. Because that works out great. Yeah, you're gonna make a plan regarding me, and you're not gonna bring me to the table. Okay. And earlier today, Trump was like, "I'm giving Hamas till Sunday to agree to this, or oh, hell's gonna break loose." With what? With what? The military that what y'all been doing with the military other than pissing everybody off? Hmm? 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 Mm-hmm. Hamas says it agreed to release all Israeli hostages, alive or dead, and expressed willingness to negotiate through mediators on President Donald Trump's plan for peace in the Middle East. I'm so tired of that phrase. I've heard that phrase so much during my life. How about y'all just leave them folks alone? Leave them alone. The group affirms its readiness to immediately enter into negotiations through the mediators to discuss the details of this agreement, it said in a statement on Friday. The movement also renews its agreement to hand over the administration of the Gaza Strip to a Palestinian body of independent technocrats based on Palestinian national consensus and Arab and Islamic support, Hamas said. Hamas was responding to a 20-point peace plan Trump outlined on Monday at the White House alongside Israeli Prime Minister Bibi from Philly. I'm pretty sure at this point, Barron Trump has showed Trump how to, well, Donnie Sr., how to use Chat GPT, because I think his most recent ideas are coming from Chat GPT. Or maybe it's coming from Grok AI. I don't know, but I don't think that they're coming from his brain cells. I could be wrong. But when it comes to Trump, I'm not often wrong when it comes. I don't think I've been wrong when it comes to him, but it's a new day, it's a new dawn. Trump said that if the militant group did not agree to the plan, Israel would have Washington's full backing to finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas. What? Israel is the threat. If Israel wouldn't keep doing what it was doing, Hamas wouldn't exist. Like I would ask white people, are they okay? But I know the white people are not okay. White people always create a problem, and then the solution to the problem, they then act like that's the problem. They're like, no, absolutely no. Mm-mm. Trump said on Friday he's given Hamas until 6 p.m. Sunday to accept the ceasefire proposal his administration offered this week to end the war in Gaza. If this last chance agreement is not reached, all hell, like no one has ever seen before, will break out against Hamas, Trump wrote in a lengthy post on Truth Social, where truth goes to die. And intelligence does not, oh, Jesus, it does not grow. It does not grow. in that garden of weeds. Like, Nightbird, I think most of the bodies are on the Israeli side because we've seen the hostages that have been released. And here's the thing. If you notice, BB from Philly never pushes for the release of hostages because y'all haven't figured out, BB from Philly lies about the hostages and the conditions of the hostages. Because if you know so much about the hostages, why haven't you gone to get them? But when they're releasing them, they're gonna BB from Philly is gonna have to come up with a new narrative because people that they say that Hamas had, if you actually release them, they're gonna tell you, oh no, well, I wasn't with Hamas. I was the IOF had me, the IDF had me. Hell, I was sitting in the back room of BB from Philly's office. Like, we know who has the majority of these people for the sake of continuing this conflict. Do not forget that BB from Philly is still on trial for war crimes. Let me repeat, BB from Philly is still on trial for war crimes. That's why he's trying to exacerbate this on top of other things. But you know, don't you know they're good? So you got more updates. All right. I'm gonna try to get through this with a straight face, and I'm gonna try. No, I'm not gonna try not to cuss. Ooh, this is gonna be a lot of fuck. All right, back to the Diddy sentencing hearing. Extravaganza. Bullshittery. I don't know. The disgraced performer and music executive told the court he wants to take responsibility for his actions. Funny you want to take responsibility now after the judge repeatedly said you have not taken responsibility, and so he's not going to be lenient with you regarding this, and you're not going to get any special extra time off or consideration, because a lot of times in cases like this, uh, judges will look at, does the person seem remorseful, have they taken responsibility, are they working to set up something to help the victims in this instance, are they willing to pay retribution, do they want to pay more, and they'll consider that in the sentencing throughout the day. First of all, I don't think that judges should say anything about things like that until after the defendant speaks, but that's just me, that's my personal take on it. But he said, and I quote, one of the hardest things I've had to handle was having to be quiet and not being able to express how sorry I am for my actions. Motherfucker, that ain't why you having a problem staying quiet. You want to cuss everybody else and tell everybody to shut the fuck up and take that, because you think that you know what? Let's continue. I want to personally apologize to Kathy Ventura to any harm I have caused her emotionally or physically. I don't take that lightly. Bullshit. Bullshit. You done had all this time to apologize to that woman. When that video first came out, you could have apologized. You could have apologized before then and not lied. You could have not done it. You could have apologized by giving her parents back the money that you forced them to give you after you put Cassie in a position where she was financially dependent upon you. I would like to apologize to her family. I am sorry. I would like to apologize to Jane. I'm sorry. I brought you into my mess. Into your... I remember what you did to Jane. You brought her... You raggedy bitch. You raggedy. Boochie cat chasing. Cooter biscuit cradling. Booty me booger sugar snorting bitch. Not you giving a full apology and trying to white woman your black ass out of this shit. You midnight blue black bastard. What in the fucking... This is some Oprah level of classism. Bitch, you just because you got a bunch of money, it did not suck the melanin out of you. And you sitting there roasting everybody in Baby Earl. Baby, you done darkened everybody with all the lights you had going on. You gave that lady a STD. You cause multiple people to be addicted to a variety of things. You was whooping motherfuckers' ass like you was Mike Tyson sucker 1993. What the fuck? I'm finding it. I'm finding it. I'm finding it, but it is beating me at hide and seek. I'm finding it. I, let's continue because that ain't the only thing he said. Combs blamed himself and drugs, and he didn't blame himself then. He didn't blame himself because drugs did not make for his disgusting, shameful, and sick behavior. My actions were disgusting, shameful, and sick, he said. I was sick, sick from the drugs. I was out of control. I needed help, and I didn't get the help, and I cannot make no excuse because my mother taught me. She taught you how to be just the way that you are. She raised a monster. Y'all were the OG Monsters, Inc. Um, and you are making excuses. You're saying it's because of the drugs. But this is like a chicken or the egg situation. You had to have the chicken in order to lay the egg, for the egg to crack to become the chicken. Okay. God put animals on the planet. He didn't lay sperm on the ground and let man grow up out of the sperm. Like, no. Um, you was doing freaky shit. And I remember, Tazzy Farms, remember the court testimony. You started using certain drugs so that you could stay harder longer so that you could fulfill your sexual predilections. You know what? Let him out. Let him out. Let him out. Let him out so he can come holler at me. Okay. I want to go out into the woods and I finally want to put this experiment out there, like for real, for real. Okay. If a Diddy screams in the woods and I take my hearing aids out and I'm the only other person there, does he really make a sound? I could think of 67 ways to make him scream and possibly leak, allegedly. To test that theory out on. He continued, I got lost in my dream of life. What the fuck kind of dreams? What? I'm not this larger than life person. I am just a human being. I was trying my best. I got lost in my excess. That much excess is larger than life, motherfucker. You Mickey Fricky. You Mickey Fricky. After saying he had been stripped down to nothing, that's why your ass is crying. That's why you. Sean Combs turned to his family and sobbed. Are you about to come out with a family YouTube channel after this? Because you're giving real family YouTuber mom vibes right about now. You taught me better, he said. You raised me better. No, she didn't. Your mama was taking your semen, freezing it, and putting it in the nut mac and cheese. Your mom was pushing your head into her crickety crotchety area. She was the erotic Charlotte to your Wilbur. Combs said his arrest and trial have made a permanent change in his outlook on life as he begged a federal judge for mercy. Yeah, you didn't think that they were gonna come get your ass, and they did. And then you thought that they were just gonna let you out willy nilly, and they didn't. And you realize all the other time you being arrogant and having all the man Cassidy and sitting there silent wasn't gonna work. So you decided to tap into your bestie Mary J. Blige's acting bag, and you decided to put on this what you thought was going to be Tony Award winning performance. No. Boo. Tomato, tomato, tomato. Two snaps and a twist. Hated it. Hated it. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. Absolutely the fuck not. I can't change the past, but can change the future. Yeah, you can. And your future is Shawshank, bitch. No redemption. Actually, send him to Alcatraz. Let him be the one. Let's see if it's bad boy for life in Sing Sing. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He said, "I ask your honor for mercy. You didn't give no mercy, so no. I beg your honor for mercy." To be a father again, a son again, and be a leader in my community again, and get the help I desperately need. Okay, you never stop being a son. She's still alive. She's still alive. She's still alive. A father. When were you really truly a father? You were a bad influence. You were a pseudo friend, but a father. And when was you a leader? What community? The sex community? Is that the freaky deaky creeper community? The sexual predator community? The anti-Hansen community? If you know, you know. What? Like, what? The FD Maxwell fan club community? Like, what leader? Who was you leading? Cause you don't look like Moses to me. No. I know. I, I don't know whose image you was made in, but it must be the most low. You must be made in the image of the most low. And get the help you desperately need. You can get the help you desperately need behind bars. You can. They got group sessions, individual sessions. They can even give you medication up in there. Okay, a little solitude might do you good. Put you in some little solitary confinement. Okay. Plus, I remember them things that they got out of your cell and your little writings and the bullshit that you was. Mm-mm, mm-mm. We need mics for this. I don't. I don't know. I'd have to look when I get to. I don't know. They need me. They're scared and I'm scared, he said. I have nobody to blame but myself. I will never put my hands on another person again. I've learned my lesson. Your children looked relieved the last time they said that you couldn't go home with them. So I don't think they need you. And most of them are grown. Okay. And the one that's not grown, the 2.5-year-old, she got a mom. So they good. They're not. They're scared of you coming home. That is clear. Um, yeah. So after that dramatic performance, they took a little break. Whew. Mm-mm. But Diddy wanted the judge to make an example of what a person can do. I'm gonna need Diddy to stop acting like he is the first person to be arrested and convicted and put in jail. We know what a reformed, rehabilitated person can do. We also know what a full of shit bullshit person can do. When people are allowed to keep skating on accountability, we know what happened, especially when they got money. Alex Murdaugh, anybody? Alex Murdaugh, stealing all that money, doing all that shit, being all sorts of fuckity fuck, already had killed somebody, got away with that, then came back and killed everybody but one son. Lord Jesus. Hello, 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 hello. Ah, Lord. Okay. Now, from the archive of this is definitely a what the fuck Friday. It is. I know normally I just do news from around social media and bring it to y'all, but on Fridays. But here we go. Texas decision on Wounded Knee medal sparks outrage in Native American communities. Native American communities that had long wanted the removal of military honors for the soldiers involved in the 1890 Wounded Knee Massacre had their hopes dashed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth in his effort to root out what he calls a woke culture in the armed forces. The era of the era of politically correct, overly sensitive, don't hurt anyone's feelings leadership ends right now at every level, Hegseth said Tuesday. Remember, this is the same administration that wants anyone that protests the administration charged with RICO and terrorism. This is the same administration condemning and criticizing people who are not weeping for Charlie Kirk ever since he got turned into a fountain. To hundreds of military officials at a ceremony. Was it a ceremony? It was a bullshit assembly that nobody wanted to attend. Everybody wanted to go to the nurse's office. The Defense Secretary announced new directives for troops that include gender neutral, they're not gender neutral, what they are male level standards for physical fitness, and painted a picture of a military that has been hamstrung by woke policies. The same policies that afforded him the ability to be the head bitch in charge, or the head drunk in charge, the head person in charge, the same one that without the standards that he's calling woke, he wouldn't have been a part of. Because Hegseth, unprovoked, multiple times, has admitted publicly that he would ignore orders, that he just did what he wanted to do, and that he doesn't believe war crimes are a thing. And after watching him work out with RFK Jr., and Tazzy Farms remembers that during his confirmation hearings, it came out that he got so pissy drunk that he came very close to assaulting an exotic dancer at a strip club, and a woman co-worker, manhandled him and got him up out the place. Hegseth had announced last week in a video on social media, of course, everything in this administration has to be through fucking social media, that Wounded Knee soldiers will keep their medals of honor, part of a wider Trump administration move that indigenous leaders and historians on Tuesday called part of a culture war against racial and ethnic minorities and women's rights. In 1890, an estimated 250 men, women, and children were killed by U.S. soldiers on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota, many as they fled the violence and after orders to cease fire. Some estimates put the number of dead over 300, more than half women and children. The actions at Wounded Knee were not acts of bravery or valor deserving of the Medal of Honor, Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Chairwoman Janet Alkire said. There is nothing Hegseth can do to rewrite the truth of that day. Oh. Do not underestimate white people. They've already rewritten it, and they will rewrite it more or just erase it completely and then look at you like, what are you talking about? That never happened. We never saw that. They do it all the time. Senator Elizabeth Warren vowed to keep pushing for the medals to be revoked through legislation. We cannot be a country that celebrates and rewards horrifying acts of violence, Warren said. Secretary Hegseth is valorizing people who committed a massacre. Here's an idea. I'm just spitballing this. Do them like they do the Black community. And by them, I'm not talking about the Native American community. I'm not talking about the indigenous community. I'm talking about the white folks. Just remove their information from the archives. Remove their information from the history book. Remove their pictures. Problem solved. I mean, these people ain't alive no more. They not alive. Who gonna challenge it? Why push for legislation? Do what they did. If they can remove Jackie Robinson, Harriet Tubman, just remove them from the archives. Can't teach what you can't find.
Who, bitch?
And I have yet to hear anybody come out and go, yeah, I'm the descendant of blah, blah, blah from Wounded Knee. They ain't got no... They probably been hawked or melted down them metals. Because let's face it, that's what they do. There are plenty of white people right now that are denying the accolades of their own family members out of jealousy. Let's help them out. They don't want anybody to know that great great pop pop did this, that, and the other. Oh, we don't want to let them know either. We got whiteout for a reason.
Left the white.
And how ironic that it was a white woman that created whiteout. One of the mothers from one of the monkeys. And no, I'm not it's like, hey, with the that monkeys. Mm-hmm. Okay. Masker left scars over generations.
Oh, she got fired. He got fired from her job for making that's why she had been in the White House.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, never mind.
Oglala Lakota chief American Horse survived the killing and testified to the Commissioner of Indian Affairs in 1891 that pregnant women and women holding infants were fatally shot as they fled. But who are the savages again?
What?
After most all of them had been killed, a cry was made that all those who were not killed or wounded should come forth and they would be safe, he testified. Little boys who were not wounded came out of their places of refuge, and as soon as they came in sight, a number of soldiers surrounded them and butchered them there, he said, according to a transcript of his testimony that has been published several times in recent decades. And I want to let you all know this is not a one and done. This is not a one and off. This is a tactic that has been used over and over and over and over and over again. There were postmaster generals that were paying, there were people of color that were paying for poor white people to be able to receive their mail, and those people still did use that tactic against them. There were black people fighting in the Civil War side by side with them that they did the same thing to at encampments. It's not a one and done. It's not a one-off. It is who they are. And please, for the love of all things holy, stop spinning the narrative that the pilgrims came here because they were fleeing religious persecution. They were the religious persecutors. Why do you think their descendants are the way that they are now in the United States? I need y'all to think. I need y'all to think. The best never flee. When you're successful somewhere, why would you leave? If everything is working in your favor, why would you leave?
And you're making valid points.
So then we have Trump hinted at plans to cancel 2028 election while talking to generals. Now we've talked about a bunch of stuff from that meet and greet that nobody wanted to meet anybody at or greet them bullshitters at. Except for this, President Donald Trump's speech to hundreds of the U.S.'s top generals on Tuesday hinted at plans to cancel the 2028 election, according to Democratic Representative Dan Goldman of New York. In an appearance on the Jim Acosta show on Tuesday, Goldman said the speech appeared to be preparing the ground for an authoritarian power grab. It's also, I think, really dangerous because it is trying to manufacture a crisis so that Donald Trump can continue to take more and more authoritarian actions and so he can usurp more and more power, said Goldman. Because let's not forget, Trump has been asking certain leaders from war-torn countries regarding no elections during the time of war. I see you, Krista. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to address this one time and one time only. Okay. Then we're going to get back to business as
I'll
usual.
put you in that bitch.
Um, our Rocco, aka our little bean, did not make it. So hence me taking quite a bit of a break off of social media for a while and just now getting back to my regular schedule. So that's why there's been no discussion, no further moving anything along. Like I said, the one and only time I am going to address it in this manner. Yeah.
Everyone can make a public statement.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I was. It's not what I clicked on, but it popped up. So I guess this is what I'm supposed to tell you about. Coast Guard officer arrested after dealership sells him truck, then reports it's stolen.
Whoa.
We don't have beef with the Coast Guard, y'all. Like that ain't the protest we need to pop up. Okay, but okay. When Coast Guard officer Shane Sprague bought a 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4X in thunderstorm gray. Damn, that was really specific. He expected the deal to be straightforward. Well, it depends on where did you buy it from. Oh. He left South Florida. That's where you fucked up.
Florida man.
That's where you fucked. Don't buy shit in Florida. And to all my Florida friends, sorry, but kind of not sorry. Don't buy shit in Florida.
Hey, sorry.
He expected the deal to be straightforward. He left South Florida's Doral Volkswagen on June 21st after depositing $15,000. Where did you get the $15,000 from?
He's in the Coast Guard.
That's right. He is in the Coast Guard. You must not
get a re-up bonus. And all
you must not have a wife. While covering the remaining price through trade in and financing. Okay. Okay, don't buy nothing from a Volkswagen dealership, but okay. All right. I got beef with Volkswagen. We can talk about that on another day. Unfortunately, he had no way to know that the dealership's finance manager had made a mistake with the VIN, accidentally linking his plates to a different truck. How you accidentally do that?
It happens.
Well, that's why I asked you.
Sometimes you get the wrong deal back. Sometimes you off by one letter or one number.
Huh, okay. Hey, I don't.
That's why they had to take pictures of the vans on the truck and the car that we were selling. So it wouldn't happen.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Learn something new every day. That clerical error led to the dealership report. Okay. That clerical error led the dealership to report the Sierra was as stolen and trigger its low jack tracker. However, Sprague never agreed to having a tracker installed, which was particularly concerning since his work on helicopters occasionally used by high-ranking government officials meant that his security clearance prohibited the use of tracking devices on his vehicles.
That's where he got it. That's where he got the money from.
Yeah, that makes sense. But he
got paid.
Now there are a couple dealerships that I do know in Kentucky that they tell you like there's because they're like, yeah, you cannot pay this if you want to. We're gonna come pick it up, and it's pointless to hide it.
Well, if he had low jack on there, once they sell him the truck, the low jack will be transferred over to him.
That was going to be my next question. So couldn't he just disable it?
No, so the dealership shouldn't have access to it anymore. It was supposed to be in his name. Like his low jack on the truck, right on the car, truck outside. Nobody has access to that but me.
On July 1st, after leaving a physical therapy appointment, Sprague was suddenly surrounded by deputies. An unmarked Ford F-150 rammed his truck. If y'all think that the car is stolen and you come into, I wish my car would be stolen and y'all damage it while you're trying to recover.
What's the name of that dealership again?
Hold on, let me go back.
Oh no, it don't matter what the name of it is because it's whatever his name is now.
Oh yeah. Rammed his truck and Broward Sheriff's Office officers.
Of course.
How did they write it like that? Broward Sheriff's Office officers pulled him out at gunpoint. What the fuck? He spent 4 hours in a jail cell before detectives finally confirmed he was the rightful owner. By then, the truck had already been towed away and the incident had left him shaken. That is the second story out of Florida I've heard like that. One was a young lady on TikTok that her father, I don't know what her father does for a living, but whatever it was, with one phone call, he shook everybody to the core. I don't know what that black man does for a living, but with one phone call, the sheriffs, the DA, the dealer, everybody was shook because it was something similar. They reported the car stolen. And I have had the sheriffs come and surround me. Now, with me, it was mistaken identity. I know how stressful that can be. And I had to sit not for 4 hours because my granny was still alive. And my cousin had called my granny. And
was he a black man?
All I know is you didn't want to piss off my granny. Okay, she was small, but she was mighty. But to sit there while they try to figure it out, oh hell no, I wouldn't be paying for nothing. I don't know. There's no picture. I
can tell you right now, Broward County Sheriff got to pay for that. Everybody got to pay for my shit.
Going back to check for updates.
No,
regarding
pay
this
for a logo, we just gonna
sentencing.
ram your shit.
Okay, here we go. Back to Diddy update. U.S. District Court Judge Arun Subramaniam sentenced Sean Combs to 50 months behind bars. That is lower than the fucking recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
I was rooting for you, Subramaniam. I was rooting for you. Now it's on site, bitch. It's on site.
He got
50 months behind bars. Prosecutors had sought an 11-year prosecutors had sought an 11-year, 3-month prison term for his Mann Act conviction, while the defense was aiming for a 14-month sentence, which would have amounted to time served. Combs, 55, was taken into custody in September last year, so he'll have more than a year of credit towards his incarceration.
Mm-hmm.
The judge also fined Combs $500,000 and ordered 5 years of supervised release once Combs leaves prison.
You can't do no take that part.
Judge Arun Subramaniam, he probably gonna be trying to take that from the damn officers. Judge Arun Subramaniam said he had considered several factors in determining Combs' sentence, including that he is a self-made artist who has inspired and lifted up communities worldwide. Lifting them up out of Baby Earl is not.
Mm-hmm.
He cited Combs' work and family history, including the murder of Combs' father, and he said that work Combs had done behind bars was impressive.
He'll be out in a year and a half.
A class with a very questionable title.
He will be out in a year and a half.
The court hopes you will continue to do that, the judge said. Subramaniam added that he had to consider all of Combs' history. You abuse the power and control with women you profess to love, he said. You abuse them physically, emotionally, and psychologically. And that's what made you think.
They didn't take R. Kelly's all of his past into consideration.
They did, and they realized that Nicole's crazy.
Get that shit. You did work.
Hold on. So I'm having to update you all here and on the OG post at the same time in real time. All right. One more, and then we're going to close out with this. Pete Hegseth is terrified of assassination and is crawling out of his skin. Pete Hegseth is reportedly crawling out of his skin in fear of being assassinated in the wake of the shooting death of Charlie Kirk. The U.S. Secretary of War has been described by his staff as manic, frequently erupting into furious rants. Two of the former Fox News host staffers told the Daily Mail that their boss's behavior has worsened after Kirk was killed earlier this month in Utah. Now Hegseth has become obsessed with his own security. Well, at least somebody is taking security seriously, because Kirk surely didn't. But you know what? I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum. Okay? If Kirk obviously wanted to identify as a fountain, and damn it, he got to identify as a fountain. So yay, Kirk. And his wife wanted to identify as a boss bitch, and she is currently identifying as a boss bitch.
She killed him.
According to the Mail, the Army's Criminal Investigation Division, the CID, has removed agents from their posts to safeguard Hegseth's homes in Minnesota, Tennessee, and Washington, D.C. He ain't in all of them all the time. And his wife is always following him around work, because that ain't the first wife, and she went from mistress to wife, so she know how this goes. Okay, she don't want that love train popping up.
She can be replaced.
Dude is crawling out of his skin, a source told the Daily Mail. I just bet he is. There's a manic quality about him, or let me rephrase, an even more manic. Let's rewind that. There's a manic quality about him, or let me rephrase, an even more manic quality, which is really saying something, another insider said. The source said that his alleged erratic behavior is even affecting his policy decisions. What policy decision? Including Hegseth's order that every military official above the rank of one-star general must fly to Virginia for a meeting. Even officers who have been stationed abroad have been ordered to attend Tuesday's meeting. That's because he wanted the aesthetics of it all. Military experts have warned that the move could leave American forces dangerously exposed as their leaders briefly leave their posts to return to the U.S. I can tell you, it's not going down well. This is seen as a waste of time, and it offends them, the military officials, at a pretty fundamental level, political analyst David Rothkopf revealed on the Daily Beast podcast. However, one source said that behind closed doors, Hegseth is nervous. This is why he wanted to leave the Pentagon and run in a gubernatorial race. The warrior persona, he spooked, the source said, because he can't fight. You sneeze too close to him, I'm pretty sure he's going to jump and piss himself. Many officials fear that the meeting in Quantico could be the first phase in a wave of firings, despite growing threats from Russia and China. Now, they're going to keep firing everybody because they're stupid. They want loyalty, and they're not thinking about the big picture, because none of them understand civics, let alone geopolitics or national or international security, because they show that they don't understand soft power. So they definitely don't understand strong power. And once again, Hegseth does not believe that there are war crimes. And he has already said that he himself enjoyed bucking the system. He keeps saying, oh, there shouldn't be any bureaucracy. You shouldn't be taking orders from a man in a suit.
He's a man in a suit.
It's no different than a young lady that I knew many years ago that I kept telling her, I was like, you keep teaching your children to buck authority, forgetting that in your family, in your household, you are the authority. And her kids became teenagers, and guess what happened? It could be about a shifting national security strategy or cuts to the General Officer Corps, which is something he has talked about several times. He's floated it to shrink the number of flag officers in the military. It could be a preparation for a potential budget stalemate next week, or it could be concerns over information leaks. Lieutenant Mark Hertling, now retired, told MSNBC. Secretary Hegseth has fired 12 senior-ranking generals, so he could be firing more. Or is it performative theater, Hertling added. Another of Hegseth's policies includes a ban on reporters publishing any information obtained at the Pentagon without approval from the Department of War. We don't have a Department of War. And before y'all go, but Taz, Trump doesn't have the ability or power to rename anything. Okay, I can write anything with Sharpie or put a plaque on anything. It does not change the fucking name of it. Okay, if your mama named you Barbara, me yelling Stephanie after you does not change your name. I'm gonna fight you.
Okay, Stephanie.
You want to witness a murder?
You ever seen a dead body?
The press does not run the Pentagon, the people do. The press is no longer allowed to roam the halls of a secure facility. Newsflash, the press are the people as well. The people make up the press. I love how they always try to make it seem like there's these little pockets of people that don't intertwine. Like we got consumers over here that somehow don't work but got money, and we got workers over here that work but don't got no money. So we got journalists over here, but they're not people. Are they on a little island outside of the United States? So they're not United States citizens. They just get to come in, roam around different little places every once in a while and say what you want them to say, and then we ship them back off to the island. Wear a badge and follow the rules or go home. Hexeth wrote on X earlier this month. They do. They wear their press passes. They do. They're not just going in and out of, like, that's not how that. Did you have them walking around just willy-nilly? You probably did. You know. The Independence has approached the Department of War for what do I call it that for comment? Because no, absolutely, we don't have a Department of War. The fuck, this ain't World War II.
No Department of Defense.
But it's supposed to be the Department of Defense. It's more like the Department of bitch assness. But
I agree.
Yeah, it is what it is. Let's get this up. As always, thank you all for joining me for the Taz Effect. Once again, daily news in a way you didn't realize you could use. I will see you all later tonight. I'm going to start a bit earlier. I'm going to start at 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, to make up for, because I missed 2 days of 107 Days with Kamala Harris. If you missed the first few parts, they are on my YouTube channel. Yes, Eastern. And they're in a playlist all of their own. Within a few minutes of me wrapping this up, I will create an event that will tag itself to all of the videos. So if you want, you can sign up there and get a notification for when that goes live. Or, like I said, you can watch it at your leisure over on my YouTube channel. And make sure you subscribe on TikTok, YouTube, and Substack. And make sure you check out the links in my bio, because there's a plethora of things for you to get some good knowledge and some entertainment out of. And if you need a break from all the craziness that's going on, check out Taz After Dark or the Nick Adams fanfic. I think you'll really like that.